Alcohol and drug abuse are significant problems within American families and within our society as a whole. Despite that fact, Americans are often uninformed about these issues. In this presentation, we will look at the issue of drug abuse, the drugs most commonly abused, and their effects. To frame the issue of substance abuse correctly, it is important to recognize that Americans use more drugs, both legal and illegal, than any other nation in the world. We have conducted an ineffective war on drugs since 1971, which this year will cost over $15 billion. Doctors have prescribed so many antibiotics that bacteria have developed an immunity. Psychiatric medications are advertised on television. Our nation's high rates of addiction and abuse must be understood in that cultural context. Drugs are part of the American lifestyle. In discussing substance abuse or dependence, several terms are commonly used. Tolerance refers to becoming physically accustomed to a substance the more you use it. Someone who is an experienced drinker can drink more than someone who has never done it before. Withdrawal refers to the effects someone feels when they stop using a substance. The most common form of withdrawal is a hangover the morning after someone was drinking. Addiction refers to a pattern of alcohol or drug use that is interfering with someone's life, but which they are unable to change. Addictions can develop in relation to many things, not simply drugs. Sex, food, the internet, and gambling are all different types of addictions people can develop. Addiction cannot be proven to have a genetic cause at this point in time, nor is the cause of addiction found in the existence of a so-called addictive personality. Addiction is a byproduct of the fact that all of us operate according to patterns of behavior. Some of those behavior patterns will be good for us, some will be bad, and some of those bad behavior patterns will be difficult to break, even if we don't call them addictions. Nicotine is the drug found in tobacco, and the addictive substance found in cigarettes and chewing tobacco. It is a form of speed, or amphetamine. It is highly addictive and very difficult to quit due to its withdrawal effects. Nicotine makes people want to use tobacco, and chronic tobacco use causes cancer, along with other health problems. While often not included under drugs of abuse, tobacco and nicotine are abused substances. Caffeine also is a drug, most commonly encountered in coffee, tea, and soda. It is a form of amphetamine and replaced the cocaine used in the original recipe for Coca-Cola. While moderate caffeine use is harmless, people do develop a tolerance for its effects, which can lead to overuse. If you drink a lot of coffee and don't have a cup before a certain time in the morning, you may have noticed the effects of caffeine withdrawal, which is marked by severe headaches. Have you had your fix today? Psychotropic drugs are medications prescribed by psychiatrists for a variety of problems: depression, anxiety, inability to concentrate, shyness. These drugs are being used in increasing numbers. Children are being prescribed medication prior to elementary school. Adults are being given medications simply to help them work longer hours. They are seen as cheap alternatives to psychotherapy. Some drugs, like Ritalin, are sold on the street and used as uppers. Of the classic drugs of abuse, which mainly involve intoxicants, alcohol is the oldest and the most prevalent in our culture. The cuneiform tablet you see is one of the earliest discovered examples of writing and is a recipe for making beer. Fermentation made bad water drinkable and was an easy way to store grains that would otherwise rot or be eaten by rodents. It had the additional benefit of making you feel good. Alcohol is a depressant. Despite the initial high you might feel, If you drink enough, you will pass out. Drink too much and you can die, because your entire body will essentially pass out, including your heart. Along with barbiturates, alcohol is also the only drug where withdrawal can be fatal. Alcohol is also the drug most connected with domestic violence, rape, assault, and murder. The legality or illegality of a particular drug has nothing to do with the danger posed by that drug. In terms of alcohol content, a bottle of beer is equal to a glass of wine is equal to a shot of whiskey. In terms of blood alcohol content, or BAC, each contain about 0.02 of alcohol. Alcohol presents a real danger of death from overdose, which is most commonly caused by chugging liquor. Once the alcohol is in your system, it cannot be medically removed. BAC will continue to rise even after drinking has stopped or people have passed out. Coffee and standing in a shower does not help. If someone passes out, turn them on their side so they do not drown in their own vomit. Better yet, if you are worried, take them to a hospital to be monitored. BAC is a measure of the amount of alcohol in your body. It can be accurately measured because your body metabolizes alcohol at a stable rate. Generally speaking, after the first hour of drinking, your body will digest 0.02 of alcohol an hour, with the rate varying based on body size and sex. 0.08 is the legal limit for driving. Since a bottle of beer is equal to 0.02, drinking 5 beers in an hour or 6 beers in 2 hours would make a person illegal to drive. Marijuana is the next most commonly used drug in America. It is a depressant and a mild hallucinogen. It is not physically addictive. Tolerance to its effects develop, but there are no withdrawal symptoms. Some people do develop an emotional dependence and so become irritable when deprived. Marijuana grows most anywhere, but is not native to North America. It is not what Native Americans smoked in their pipes. They smoked tobacco. The most common effect of marijuana is to make people zone or focus on a narrow range of objects. For that reason, it is dangerous to use while driving, because people will have difficulty paying attention to everything going on around them. Its relaxation properties can also lead to laziness. It does have medical benefits for relieving nausea and is used by cancer patients receiving chemotherapy to help them eat. It also is a mild painkiller and is useful for treating glaucoma. Heroin is an opiate, which is a painkiller. It is produced from the sap of the poppy flower. Opiates are the basis for the most effective pain medications, such as morphine and hydrocodone. In the body, heroin is identical to morphine. It can be smoked, sniffed, or injected, and its effects last 6 to 8 hours. Opiates are an ancient drug, first mentioned by Homer in the Odyssey as a painkiller. The personal doctor of Marcus Aurelius recorded the dosages he was administered to the Roman emperor. Before opiates were made illegal without a prescription, they were the primary ingredient in baby teething medicine and in elixirs to eliminate menstrual cramps. In the 19th century, the primary opiate users were women. All opiates are physically addictive. If you take prescribed painkillers for several days to a week, you will notice minor withdrawal effects when you stop. Someone who is a chronic user will have significant withdrawal effects, but it is not life-threatening. HIV and hepatitis are diseases commonly spread among heroin users who inject with unclean needles. Switzerland allows heroin addicts to legally inject for free at government clinics to prevent disease and crime. Cocaine is a plant native to South America. It is a stimulant that can be sniffed or injected. It provides an intense but brief high that lasts 15 to 30 minutes. Crack is a refined version of powder cocaine that can be smoked. The high provided by crack is more intense, but briefer. As a result, crack smokers can smoke a lot of cocaine and spend a lot of money. Cocaine can cause heart attacks because it constricts blood vessels and raises blood pressure. Since it mimics the brain's pleasure-inducing neurotransmitters, the brain stops producing the natural chemicals. As a result, when a cocaine user quits, they may go through 6 months to a year of being unable to experience normal levels of pleasure. This condition of anhedonia is a major cause of relapse. Cocaine also stimulates the same neural circuitry that regulates sexuality. For that reason, cocaine users often lose all interest in sex or engage in sexual behaviors they would never do when sober. The connection of sex with cocaine is another cause of relapse, since sex without cocaine can come to seem boring. Inhalants are a highly dangerous drug frequently used by teenagers because they are easily found in the house and are cheap. People will inhale or huff paint thinner, gasoline, magic markers, and the propellant in cans of spray paint and whipped cream. When these chemicals are inhaled, they can coat the lungs with heavy metals, leading to suffocation. 35% of people who die from inhalants die the first time they try them. Methamphetamines are well known in our region of the country. Since they can be made from easily obtained chemicals, people will set up production labs in their homes. Meth, or speed, or ice, as it's known, is highly addictive. It provides a high that lasts for 6 to 8 hours. People will use for days at a time, going without food or sleep, and then crash. Due to the wear and tear in the body of using for days and then crashing, the physical health of a person can deteriorate quickly. Chronic use can lead to meth mites, which are sores on the skin. The behavior of users can be very erratic and aggressive. Hallucinogens can be found in plants such as peyote and certain kinds of mushrooms, and in synthetic chemical compounds like LSD, otherwise known as acid. They are not physically addictive and produce hallucinations along with feelings of euphoria that last for 6 to 8 hours. The primary danger is that some people have bad trips, which are marked by prolonged panic attacks. A few people can develop psychosis through repeated use. Ecstasy, or Molly, is a drug commonly used among youth. It is a combination of speed and hallucinogen. Ecstasy produces a euphoria that enhances bodily pleasure. For that reason, it is frequently associated with sex. However, it also raises the body's temperature significantly, often over 106 degrees, leading to dehydration and sometimes death. Bath salts, which are not the same as salts you use for a bath, are one of the new synthetic drugs being used primarily by young people. They have been made illegal. Their effects are similar to other types of speed. However, in addition to euphoria, they can induce paranoia, hallucinations, and erratic behavior. Finally, another new drug is synthetic marijuana, also known as K2 or spice. It is made from plants sprayed with a chemical compound that is supposed to imitate marijuana. It is illegal in North Carolina, but not in all states. In addition to relaxation, it can induce hallucinations and prolonged states of psychosis. These drugs are a common part of our culture. As a result, you have undoubtedly used one or more of them, and your family may well have been affected by someone who abuses or is addicted to them. What are your comments or questions?